Me when I fall up the stairs. Me when I fall down the stairs. Me when I fall up the stairs. Me when I fall down the stairs. Zero rehearsal.
You know, right as before you started talking, Ariel told me before we started recording, oh, the opening line isn't even that funny, it's just making me laugh. And I was like, what could it be? And right when I pressed record, I went, it's going to be a gag on the falling up and down the stairs thing.
You know me too well at this point. This is the issue. It's the best part of the episode in my personal opinion.
The dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
No, it is
I
good.
love that bit. We'll get into it. I'm Ariel.
And I'm Velvet, and
welcome to Lost All Caps.
Episode 20.
Episode 20.
/19.
Episode 20 of Lost All Caps. We're discussing Series 1, Episode 19, Deus Ex Machina.
Yes.
I apologise in advance. We're going to be doing this at the top of every single episode from now on.
Mostly because I get confused. More so than anything else, it's because I get confused about it.
Mm-hmm. So, first order of business, we went to a kilo sale.
Yeah.
This is what's happened. If you're watching on Instagram, this is what happened.
We went to a kilo sale.
And
I bought a fishing vest.
It was really good fun. It was
great,
good kilo
first
sale.
of all. Yeah, I don't remember the name.
Blue Rinse.
Blue Rinse in Manchester.
Is the name of the shop. Shout out, Blue Rinse.
Yeah, they were lovely. The people working it were all really, really fun and really nice and were like kind of, yeah. They were like, I was like, oh, I'm not sure about getting this thing. And they were like, get it.
Yeah, no, it literally was. It was great. So the story was, I obviously immediately gathered together 1 million clothing items. Mm-hmm. I got so much, including this top and this skirt. So I decided to go full kilo sale outfit, not the leggings, I've had these for years, but I felt like they fit the kind of maximalist, insane vibe that I was going for.
They sort of matched the energy.
I was like, we're going to go, not quite colourful, it's more like a muted, but insane in terms of patterns.
Yeah, I definitely get that.
This is the vibe that I've gone for.
Yes.
But Velvet, you didn't have enough to make a kilo, did you?
Yeah, I had like a skirt and a jumper and like a bag, but they were all really light, and the guy was like, well, it's not enough to make a kilo, so if I charge you individually it'll cost more money, do you want to go grab something else? And I was like, there's this fishing vest that I tried on.
So there's this thing called a fishing vest.
That Ariel and all of our friends who we were there with were all like, don't buy it.
Excuse me, correction. I'd not seen the fishing vest.
Did you not see it?
No. I don't know, we must have gotten split up. I think I went into a bit of a frenzy when I was in there.
Ariel kind of locked in and just like went round a million aisles.
Yeah. But I didn't see the fishing vest, so it was only your friends who were shitting on it. Because when you brought it back, you went, I'm going to go get it. You ran to the place and came back to the tills where we were. I was like, it's great.
Yeah.
Get it.
So it's
I'm so on board.
Basically, the story behind the fishing vest was that I have this denim jacket, right? That like a denim vest with these like patches on. And I was like, well, I got it when I was like, it was when we went to Camden for your 16th
birthday.
So I must have been just 13. Mm-hmm. And I got it then, obviously, when it fit me, but by now it's kind of too small, and so I never wear it because it's like really short and like everything I wear is like kind of baggy, and I was like, okay, well, I'll just get like a different denim jacket and then just take the patches off and sew them onto that. And then I was like, oh, well, I don't know if denim jacket is really my vibe. I feel like I need something sillier. And it hit me, I should get a fishing vest. Because I think they're really funny. And also, like, I'm a big fan of pockets. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I think it would be fun. And we found this at the kilo sale. And admittedly, my friends had some good points. Because there was a stain on it. And it did have crumbs in one of the pockets.
You know, it's just... Every good fisherman needs to, like, you know, have that slow burn energy, sustain yourself with little snacks along the journey.
And like something I discovered post washing. Do you want to see? I'm gonna find them.
Just reaching into a slot behind your back.
There's some twigs. So this is like, I brought the vest home. I was like, I'll hand wash it in the shower and then I'll put it on for a proper wash. Hand washed it, and the inside is bright red, right? It leaked like no one's business. My entire shower went pink, and then I put it in a wash on its own at like a boiling hot temperature. Got it out, it was significantly lighter in colour, and somehow the sticks stayed in the back, like, slot thing that whole time. And then I put my hand in to see if I could, like, sew through the fabric, and I was like, who's this diva?
I did not know there were twigs. This is a revelation to me.
So they're staying in there, because I think that's funny. And then I was like, well, I'll put all of my badges on it and stuff.
You never know when you might need a twig.
Exactly.
Secret twig pouch.
Secret twig. And then I was like, well, it's very John Locke core.
Yes. Because he does, in this episode, we see in the little previously on, he's wearing the vest, isn't he?
Yeah. He has one similar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if I was the one who said it was John Locke coded, but you definitely said that you think this vest is Boone coded.
Yeah, I was like, it's the kind of thing Boone would wear, because it's like plain and sleeveless, but it's got like a fun thing in the middle, and we know he loves a graphic tee.
We do. But I was a little bit annoyed.
Yeah, I wasn't particularly happy with the comparison.
I was thinking it was more like Vivian from The Young Ones, with the 3 stars, and I was like, that's my vibe, if I had the stars on my forehead.
Yeah.
But,
not quite the same as Boone.
No, not
Boone's
exactly.
more of a Rick.
Yeah. Completely. But since you had got the fishing vest at the same time, we were like, oh, okay. So it's our John and Boone cosplay. Mm-hmm. And since this is their episode, we thought we would dress in them today.
I also have on my jacket as well, I have my lost pocket.
Yes.
Which is where Ariel has a badge maker.
I do.
And I've accumulated 1 million lost themed badges.
I make so
from
many
Ariel.
lost themed pins. But we can't talk about any of them yet, because they're all
I
references things to things that happen later.
But what I will tell you is one of my favourites is just a image of Jack Shepherd looking completely gormless and a pointing emoji, and it says Jack Shepherd is proud of you, and I appreciate that. I have a Saeed one as well.
Yeah, I'm glad you do. Those were a crowning achievement for me,
because I love the pointing emoji.
Yeah, I talked about my pin badges last week, didn't I, with the numbers one?
Yes. And I've actually lost my numbers one, so it's not on my lost pocket.
You're joking.
I think it's in my jewellery box somewhere.
Bitch. It better be.
I'm pretty sure it is, but I've not looked for it yet because I forgot, but I need to find it and put it on my lost pocket.
Yeah. I can't believe so little care and regard for the beautiful things that I make for you.
I know, I'm sorry.
Honestly, so ungrateful. But before we get into the episode, I also have another piece of Lost-related news.
Oh, yeah?
Which I haven't told you about.
Do tell.
So you remember in episode 12, my favourite title, whatever the case may be.
Uh-huh.
So on this here podcast, go back and listen to episode 12, guys.
Rewind.
We talked about the moment where Kate picks up the wallet from the marshal's dead body, and it's got all those maggots in it. And she kind of just shudders a tiny bit and drops it. But she's doing all of that in order to steal the key in a sleight of hand thing. So she doesn't really react to seeing all these maggots in the wallet. And I remember just being like, that's crazy. I feel like I would react really massively.
Really freak out, yeah.
To seeing all these maggots. But then I was like, well, I don't know how I would respond. So I now know how I would respond.
Oh, no.
Because the lights in our bathroom broke last week.
Yes.
Still hasn't been fixed. Thank you, landlords. And I probably shouldn't say that on air, should I? We're gonna get fucking evicted from the house. And it was one of those I don't know what you'd call it. Not recessed, because it is sticking out from the wall ceiling, but it's
It's just a massive fuck off bulb.
Yeah, and on it had a circular cover.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to mine here. It had a sort of semicircle cover that's onto the wall.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm stood in the dark because there's no light. Our housemate is helping me by shining a phone torch out in my face. No, it was not in my eyes. It's all good. Standing on a chair in the dark, pulling, and I sort of turn and I pull this light fitting off, right? And then I'm looking at the bulb and I'm trying to figure out what's gone wrong, like, has it visibly blown? Is it like, is there any visible problem? There isn't. I've got no idea what's wrong with it. We bought a new light bulb, it didn't work. Well, that's besides the point. I'm holding this, like, cover for the light fitting, right, in my hands for a good, couple minutes whilst I'm looking up at the light. It's not until after then that I actually look down and I see that inside the circular cover are at least 10 dead flies.
I was going to say, if you tell me there are maggots in our ceiling and you've not told me this for 2 weeks, I'm going to go insane.
Imagine me being like, no, I got to wait until you're on air to tell you.
Dead flies is a very different ending to that story than maggots in the light fitting.
Hey, I gotta keep the suspense going,
I mean, I was in suspense.
I'm a storyteller. I'm weaving the narrative, But yeah, I screamed. When I saw those dead flies, and Callie was like, what's wrong? And I was like, sorry, I just got really freaked out, there's dead flies in there. I didn't expect to see them, because I've been holding it, right?
I guess because you had it in your hand for ages. Yeah.
I looked down, and I was like, ah! It really freaked me out. So I now know that I would have none of the, grace or subtlety that Kate has.
Would you say you would have more of the kind of reaction Boone had in the plane when the body fell down on him? Because I was like, that's a realistic reaction.
That is a realistic
big old
reaction.
Scream, freak out, push yourself as far away as possible.
Yeah, because that's terrifying.
I mean, that's horrible. We don't even...
Way more terrifying than finding some dead flies.
Ugh.
But it did freak me out.
I mean, it was a dead body of sorts. Bodies of flies.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of flies, actually... We had way back when, in episode 5, we were talking about there was a big fly in our living room while we were recording.
Go back, listen to episode 5, guys. Go.
And we got a message the other day from our mother being like, "I'm just listening to episode 5. Flies do have genders." And I was like, what?
I know, we'd completely forgotten about the whole fly thing. We're like, what are you talking about?
I had no idea what she was going on about. And I was like, we recorded that so long ago, I don't remember. And she was like, yeah, no, they do have genders. And I was like, okay. So, in case anyone was in suspense about the fly thing, they do have genders.
Yeah, we are just like Lost. We plant seeds of mysteries.
We bring it back.
And then 20
all comes back
episodes later, it all comes back around.
All comes back around. You know what? That got resolved quicker than who hit Saeed in the head.
So fucking true. Oh my god, we still don't fucking know.
Still don't know. I genuinely have no idea when we even find that out.
God,
you do find out, but I have no idea when.
Can't wait for that previously
Very
on.
excited.
So shall we get into it?
Yeah, let's get things going.
My first note is coming in hot with a bad flashback wig.
Yeah. Oh my god, should we talk about John's wreath?
It's bad, isn't it? It's bad. And it's like...
Also, that's so not the colour hair I would imagine John having.
Right! I was thinking this too. And also, we find out that his mum is ginger and his dad has white hair.
Which means he was probably ginger.
Was very, ginger or light blonde hair. So
can you imagine Ginger John? Ooh. You know what? I actually kind of can't picture him with hair at all. I'm trying to think about it now. I'm trying to think what kind of hair did I imagine him having. But for some reason, the only image my brain can conjure up is a sort of 1950s quiff situation. I think just because I'm trying to transport back in time to when John
would have hair.
Yeah. And for some reason, my brain went to Greece.
Yeah, Danny Zuko is John. To be fair, that's what the flashback wig was giving. You know, how they try and de-age those actors.
Oh, how they try and make them 35-year-olds, they're in high school, I promise. Yeah, I don't know how old John's supposed to be in these flashbacks.
10 years before?
Probably.
We did make a timeline, didn't we? Once?
We have a timeline somewhere in an old notebook of mine where we wrote out everything that you find out. Because John's life is so weird, and none of we dated all the flashbacks by how much hair they've given him. And we were going back and being how...
So fucking funny.
When do these things happen?
Yeah. Run as fast as you can. Gotta watch out for the Ginger John man.
That's the worst thing you've ever said.
I can see him ginger. I don't know why you can't.
I can see him ginger. I guess I don't know what I'm picturing. I'm picturing like a sort of dark brown, I guess.
So what he has?
No, he has like sandy brown hair. He's like nearly blonde.
In the show?
In the wig?
No. It's like dark.
Anyway. Can you imagine John with curly hair?
Funny. No.
Sort of Bob Ross style.
I can actually. You've brought it back. I can picture him.
I feel like
with the Bob Ross
John,
hair.
Bob Ross, they're sort of similar in a sense.
Two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, and John got all the anger. The only note I had about that, well, I have a couple, but I just wrote Mousetrap with loads of exclamation marks. Do we still have Mousetrap? I think we got rid of it.
God, yeah.
We used to have a second-hand mousetrap we bought from like a fucking farm or something. It was like a bric-a-brac shop in like a outdoor event, and I got really excited about the mousetrap, so we bought it.
This is what happens when you grow up in a small rural town. We bought Mousetrap from a farm. It was an actual mousetrap. I don't know why they sold it to children.
And it was like already broken when we got it.
Yeah, it was.
It didn't really go together properly, and I just loved it so much. We never even really played the game. I used to just set it up and then play with the marbles.
Honestly, I think you were always rolling the dice. No pun intended. When you're buying a board game secondhand, but
Yeah.
Mousetrap is probably one of the worst ones to buy secondhand.
Because there's so many pieces.
Yeah, and they all have to precisely work in
Yeah.
order for it to.
I know there was a lot of periods where I would get really angry trying to fit everything together because it was broken.
But do you think Mousetrap is a metaphor? Like, why is it in the
You
show?
know what? Actually, it never crossed my mind that it was, and then as soon as you've said that, it's all fallen into place.
Much like
the trap.
the game.
Because John's mum coming to the toy shop is like setting the trap, and there's a chain reaction into getting John into the hospital and getting the kidney,
Yeah, I guess
and
so.
kind of lands him in the trap.
I guess so. Also, I guess on the island, like the trebuchet is like building a kind
Very
of...
much is similar to the mouse trap.
Yeah. And I guess he thinks that there's some kind of like narrative or sequence of events in play.
Like a game being played, almost. Yeah.
The island in this scenario being like the hand of God that comes down and
the
puts
hands
the marble.
that roll the dice and put the cheese pieces together. You know, actually, the first note I made about this episode was, it just says, "What does the title mean again? I need to Google it." Didn't Google it. Forgot.
I don't know what it literally translates to.
It's
but
Latin, right?
Yeah, it means divine intervention, essentially.
Oh, I see.
So Deus Ex Machina is...
Oh, of course, yes, because Deus is God.
Is God, yes. And I think it might mean into the machine, but machine not meaning a machine like we know it, but the machine, the mechanics of the world. Basically, it's a literary device where if everything is going wrong in your play... and you need it all to be resolved quickly, you can just go, and then God shows up, and everything's fine.
I see.
He fixes everything.
I see. Sorry, if you heard me say no just now, I wasn't disagreeing with what you were saying. It was because my phone searched before I finished typing, and I went no, and then I realised it sounded like I was disagreeing with you.
No.
Yeah, it says, a plot device whereby an unsolvable problem in a story is suddenly or abruptly resolved by an unexpected and unlikely saviour.
You're trying to undermine my English literature degree. I knew that. Come on.
It means God from the machine.
Oh, God from the machine, not God into the machine. That's what I thought it meant.
God from the machine, I guess. Yeah,
But
that makes a lot of sense, because I guess what John is waiting for this entire episode is the Deus Ex Machina, and it doesn't come.
Yeah.
Or does it? Hatch.
I mean,
I don't think so, but, you know, that's up to interpretation. I have my opinions.
it's so funny the way I was thinking about this before we sat down to record. Because I was like, I think it's a false binary, if that's the right phrase. That's a very lofty phrase for what I'm about to describe.
Do tell me more about this false binary.
This false binary, to draw a distinction between, like, Team John and Team Boom. I don't think that's really a thing, But if we were to
No.
draw a distinction, I think you'd be on Team Boone, and
absolutely.
I'd be a bit more on Team John.
Yeah, I think...
So it's ironic that we're dressed as the other one.
Yeah. They're on each other's team. Well, they're not, crucially not on each other's team. Yeah, I think the thing is, it's less so Team Boone, Team John, and more so your opinion of this episode as a viewer heavily depends on your opinion of John as a character, I think. And that a lot of John's actions across the series so far are just very intertwined with Boone. So it kind of links in with opinions of Boone, but I think he's kind of less important to the sort of moral dilemma, the Deus Ex Machina, the, like, belief.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess it's depends on whether you see Boone as a bit of a, like, tool in John's kind of toolbox.
Yeah, it's like if it's, I guess, seeing Boone as part of John's journey or seeing Boone as having his own thing going on. So I guess in that sense it is Team Boone more so.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I think in this episode especially, John has come to view Boone as part of his sort of means to an end. As his sort of sidekick in finding his fate, and it's John's fate and it's nothing to do with Boone, but Boone's just kind of along for the ride.
Keep trying to speak.
Well, let me finish!
Ranting. No, I'm joking, yes.
I haven't even started the rant yet.
A couple things. I think...
Go on, tell me how you disagree.
I don't think John sees Boone as wholly irrelevant or just something to help him find his fate. Because Boone appears in the dream, right? So obviously he's important because John has this dream and he's like, this is everything coming to fruition. This is fate. This is what I'm supposed to do on the island. And Boone is there. Boone's a key part of it, actually.
Yeah, but is Boone's part in the story not just that John's legs are going to stop working so Boone has to climb up the thing?
Maybe not, because
well, not from my opinion, but I'm saying from how
John's opinion. Well, I mean, I don't know how John views it, but obviously the Teresa anecdote is important.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what does John think of it? Or does he just use it as a way to prove to Boone that the dream is something...
I don't know. I mean, obviously it appeared in the dream for a reason. But I think, like, yeah, John says it to Boone to prove that his dream has significance and to prove that they need to go on this, like, journey.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess, you know, it's when Boone tells John about Teresa that they find the plane. So... it's like a comes back around.
It's all connected, isn't it? Yeah.
It's difficult to say more without kind of spoiling what comes with, like, the hatch and the future of this plotline.
Yes. Just keep her in mind. Keep thinking about our girl Teresa, you know.
Justice for Teresa. Honestly. I did have, like, it's a very, very, like, powerful kind of moment, but also I do have written down calling Teresa on the intercom, okay, rich boy.
Oh, it's the most rich boy anecdote we've had yet, isn't it?
Like, it's crazy.
Like, he's so privileged.
His mum is working her corporate job, and so he has the nanny. That's, like, classic.
Yeah.
And he sits in bed calling her on the intercom to bring him things.
Because he's spoiled,
because he's spoiled.
Yeah, I think it's like, you know, he's acting out because he's a child, and a spoiled child at that, but he is very much feeling this, like, why isn't my mum here with me?
Yeah, it's because he wants his mum, and so he's miserable about being with Teresa.
So he takes it out on her. And obviously that's a privileged position to be in, right? To just, like, have power over an adult woman when you're a child. But then I don't think he takes the guilt of being responsible for her death lightly.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Yeah. Obviously it's still, like, you know, haunts him to this day, and he's still thinking about it on the island and stuff. And it's such a intense and personal thing for him that for John to bring it up. I think he has a really good reaction when John brings it up. He just goes like, who's Teresa? And I think you can kind of see...
being like, how do you know about that?
Yeah.
Like, clearly it's something he doesn't, you know...
want to talk about,
want to tell people about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was just trying to think. I had, like, you know how we talked about my like monologuing to myself? I had a thing ages ago. I was like, what is the significance of that story? And I like came to I had like a shrimp colours moment and like came to a conclusion where I was like, oh my god, it's so significant. And I cannot remember what it was.
Oh god.
I'll get there. I'm sure it will come back to me.
It's like when you discover the meaning of life in a dream and then you wake up. You're like, fuck.
Teresa.
That's what happened to John. Yeah. I mean, should we just talk about the rest of the dream briefly? It is my favourite part of the episode.
It's a very good bit. I think, like, Lost does a really fun thing of dreams that start off real and then...
Yes. Because I forgot that was the dream. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, when the scene started and he's like, you're late, I don't want to come working anymore, blah, blah, blah. I was, like, I started writing down Boone standing on the hatch because I was like... oh, he's gone to stand in the middle of the hatch. That's pretty cool. It looks like very cool visually.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, and he's on it later on in the dream. But then I was like, no, wait, this is the dream.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
I think that's what's so great about it is that obviously John thinks it's real and then suddenly Boone's covered in blood. And then his mum's there.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh.
And it's really disorienting as a viewer. Disorientating? No.
I don't know.
It's really disorienting as a viewer, and like all of the kind of like harsh noises and stuff that come in. I love the cut betweens with the blood-covered Boone.
Yeah. I like that it's not like John looks away and he looks back, and then Boone's all covered in blood. It's like it flashes and like he actually watches it happen.
Yeah.
I think that's like really cool.
And all the voice distortion that's put on him. It's Boone's best moment in my opinion.
Honestly, yeah, I'm kind of inclined to agree.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a good moment later on, but yeah.
He's serving, honestly.
Yeah, and I think, like, there is, like, genuine sort of island magic significance to that, as we know, because how else would John know about Teresa? Mm-hmm. So that begs the question of Claire's dreams as well.
Yeah.
Is there genuine magical significance to those?
And, like, we sort of theorised that maybe Claire's dreams were sort of induced by the drug that Ethan was injecting her with. Mm-hmm. That doesn't seem to be the case anymore.
No, because John, crucially, wasn't using the weird hallucinogenic paste.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, was Ethan, unless Ethan was acting on behalf of the island somehow.
Yeah, there's that.
It's not impossible, given his kind of, like, supernatural strength and everything. Like, he could be some kind of island creature, in theory.
Yeah, he could be. He could be linked with the magic of the island in some way.
But I'd say what's probably more likely, given this new piece of information, is that the island gives you crazy dreams.
Yeah, and the island gives you crazy dreams when important things are happening to you.
Yes. So I guess what Claire's dreams, you know, the island was trying to tell her that her baby was in danger.
Yeah, I think so.
Because she's not pregnant in the dream, is she? And the baby's in the cot's all bloody and stuff.
Yeah, but suddenly he's like pulled this out of nowhere, and then I was like, oh, it's John's like perception, like I guess his worry of that's how, you know, Boone's gonna react. He's gonna be like, this is stupid, we don't need to do anymore, because that's what he's worried. That's what he's thinking. He's thinking this is stupid, we're not gonna get in.
Exactly. It's very clever, isn't it, from a writing perspective. And I really like how he sort of ends up in the wheelchair at the end of the dream as well, because that's another fear of his, because obviously we see at the beginning of the episode that he's lost some feeling in his legs.
Yeah.
And then he yells right as he's waking up. He yells, "Don't take it back."
Yeah, and I wrote some stuff down about that. I was saying, like, so John, it seems, thinks that he's been given this gift and it can be taken from him. But what it seems to be is that he thinks the reason the island gave him the ability to walk is because he was meant to open the hatch. And because he can't figure out how to open it, the island is mad at him and is taking back his ability to walk.
Yeah.
And so that's why he really needs to push to follow this dream.
And I mean, gosh, if you're, you know, thinking that, then it really explains a lot of his actions, doesn't it? You know?
Yeah.
Sorry, there's a plane going overhead. Let's just pause. Teresa falls up the stairs. Teresa falls down the stairs. Teresa falls up the stairs.
And I was also thinking, though, because, like, if John...
Sorry. I just remembered that we have fake blood upstairs. We can recreate it! We can recreate it, Velvet! Oh my god.
Okay,
oh my
well,
god, I'm in the moon outfit!
Later.
Oh my god.
I know
oh
what
my
we're
god.
doing later, okay.
Yes! Oh, this is gonna be so much fun. Ah! Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited.
Okay.
Teresa falls up the stairs.
As I was saying, that like this, if we lean into this idea that John's got, that like he's meant to open the hatch and it's like a purpose and that's why he was given the ability to walk, etc., etc. The glass doesn't break with the trebuchet, right? And I was thinking like two things. One,
Boone can't spell trebuchet.
I did write "Boone, you're so stupid" heart emoji above this. The way he's just like, I don't even know how to spell trebuchet.
It's the real himbo coming out, isn't it?
It's the like, yeah, it's just so funny.
It is. And then the way that John's like, it's got a T on the end.
Why do they call it trebuchet? It looks like a catapult. Oh, Boone. Oh, stupid boy.
Fun. We have fun on the island, don't we?
Such a stupid boy. Okay.
Sitcom with those two. That's what it'd be like. It'd be like, it's got a T on the end. Oh, cute laugh track.
But anyway. Far more significant things that I was saying.
Derailing everything today.
So, like, first thing is, did the glass not break because it wasn't supposed to happen? Is it because something else is meant to happen here? Is it because they were meant to find the plane? Or John was meant to, I don't know, lose feeling in his legs again? I don't know. Like, was it meant to happen? Or, if we come out of this world of, like, magic and fate, is the glass that difficult to break because it was built not to be broken? What's down there?
Exactly, because they talk about this, don't they, with the fact that it's got no handle, no way of opening it. Like, they're either trying to, you know, keep something in or keep something out or something. Like, it's like a sealed kind of pod.
And as we find out at the end of the episode, something is down there.
Yes! I forgot we found that out in this one. Oh!
Because I was thinking that, I thought that wasn't until next episode. I thought that was like, you see John disappears from the cave and that's the end of the episode.
That final scene is so fucking good! Oh my gosh, love it.
It is good.
Because you, like John, have kind of lost faith in all of this throughout the episode, haven't you?
Yeah.
And like the narrative that we see in the flashbacks as well. Like he thinks this is all like meant to happen. He's meant to save his dad's life. They're bonding and everything. And then you finally find out that it was all orchestrated by that prick of a human being.
Oh my god.
We'll get into how much I hate Anthony Cooper so damn much. But you find out it's not fate, this is the real world, like, everything, and John, he's just been, in his life, it's just been relentless, you know, like, everything has gone down the shitter for him, basically, like, everything, every opportunity, he finally gets his family, and it's all just gone to shit, and then he's there in that moment, and then Boone's had this horrific accident, and you're like, oh my god, it's all gone to shit again for John, it's awful, and then he's there, and he's, like, just such a brilliant expression of all that frustration. Like, I think sometimes John's violence is a bit overdone. Like, I think sometimes he has these violent outbursts and they're not exactly done in a great way, in terms of the show, like the framing of it and the fight choreography or whatever. But this one, I think it's done in a really great way. And the way that he's banging on the thing, and then the light comes up and you go, oh my god.
There's a reason for it all.
There's a reason for it all.
Yeah.
This is all meant to happen, or something.
Or it's like, at the very least, like, it's not, they're not like gonna open it and then that's it. Like, there's something down there.
There is something down there. It's quite literally the light at the end of the tunnel.
I was gonna say, it's the light, yeah.
And you know they love a heavy-handed metaphor on this show.
Especially when it comes to John. I also wrote down everything breaks if you apply the right force. That was what John said about the glass.
Yes.
And I was like, yes.
His psyche breaks.
Yeah.
If you apply the right
because like
force.
John, because like John,
his faith breaks, I guess.
And also like John, in like across the show in his time on the island, has been very calm and very like confident and very much like, it's okay, this is what you needed to see, this is what's gonna happen. And then as soon as the threat of not being able to walk again, that pressure is applied to him, everything spirals out of control. And so it's like if you apply force in the right place, everything breaks.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like the conversations we have on this podcast are like a blunt rotation. Do you know what I mean? We're like, man, if you apply the right amount of force and it links, okay, it's related.
Okay, wait, Lost Dream Blunt rotation.
Oh my god! Oh, they're all
because I'll tell you something right now, John is not on that list.
Can you imagine getting high with John? He's like, you know that meme where it's like, it's gonna get you zonked out your mind, yeah, whatever. And then the friend
10 minutes later, dude, we have to open the hand.
Yeah. The island is lying to us.
My body burn pacing. The island is lying to us.
That's literally John.
That's this episode,
That is this episode. That's how we summarize this episode, honestly. Man, yeah. Ooh, I think Kate would be fun, but she'd also get a bit paranoid.
Yeah. Charlie would be chill.
Well, I mean, he only does...
Charlie has definitely... Hurley.
Yeah.
Like, Charlie and Hurley, I reckon that's a chill.
That's what they're, like, doing during this episode. Because neither of them are in this episode, are they? Oh, Hurley's in it for, like, 1 second.
Hurley has one line.
They're just, like, getting high in the corner. Honestly.
Yeah. I reckon, actually, this is a bit of a rogue answer, but I'm going to say Sun.
Ooh, okay.
I think I could queen out with Sun, you know?
Yeah.
And I also think, like, she's got that garden. I know she'd grown it. It's the perfect climate. That's really what Sawyer was going to Sun for.
Yeah.
The aloe vera was like a cover-up. He was like, have you got any weed?
Which one?
Hint, hint.
Yeah. Gin, though.
Gin? Fuck no, you're joking? Michael, I feel, could be fun. He's an artist. I feel like he's dabbled.
Yeah, probably. But I doubt he would now that he has to look after Walt.
Yeah, he'd be like, I can't.
Yeah. If Walt was off at daycare or something.
If Walt's like at school.
He's at a sleepover. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, Jin would be far too uptight, I think.
He gets so freaked out. He like gets so insane immediately.
Nightmare blunt rotation is like Jack and John.
Jack, John,
and Jin. The 3 J's.
The J blunt
rotation.
rotation.
The J names of the island. Hello. Throw Sawyer in there as well. James. Throw him in there. He'd be a nightmare.
Terrible.
No, they can have their little horrible nightmare blunt rotation.
Lock them in a room. Saeed, what's your thoughts on Saeed? I feel like he would just simply not get high. I feel like it's beneath him. He'd just smoke with you and he'd just feel nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree.
I feel like you would get progressively more stoned and he would just feel nothing and he'd just keep chatting with you. Yeah. But I feel like he'd also be able to get the vibes. Like, if you started saying like shit like, oh, you know, everything breaks if you apply enough, he'd be like, yeah, that's what I've been saying.
Yeah, it's very profound actually. Yeah.
Danielle, yes.
Oh yeah, she's there. 1000%.
That's what she needs, I think. She needs, like, medicinal CBD. Now that important conversation is out of the way. Okay, let's talk about the plane. We've skirted around it a little bit. I want to discuss it.
Absolutely. It's a huge fucking revelation
because
in this episode.
Other people, not only... Right, we have Danielle.
Yeah.
And we have this, like, Ethan, what's going on. Mm-hmm. But this is, like, someone else who's crashed on the island. This is, like, it's happening to loads of people.
Yeah.
But also, if they were flying from Nigeria, how did they get... Where were they going?
Yeah.
I don't know enough about geography to really answer that
neither.
question.
I also don't remember where the island is supposed to be. I just know it's off course.
Fiji. Or near Fiji.
Oh, yeah, near Fiji.
Because it's like they weren't flying very long before they went off course. Somewhere in like the...
South Pacific, maybe?
We did history.
Yeah, so Danielle shipwrecked on the island, but here we have another plane that's crashed on the island.
But it's a little plane.
It's a little plane.
I don't know what the name is. John did say it.
Did he?
For a little plane
Orange
like
one.
that. Yellow plane. Heart emoji.
Plain emoji. And yeah, so oh my god, it's so exciting, isn't it? To be
Just
he's seen this like plane fly over. And I don't know about you, but I think when I first saw it, I was a bit like, is this about rescue? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Is this someone who's going to
plane?
land and save them? But no, this is someone who crashed years ago.
Yeah. So we have the dead body of the priest, who's probably not a priest.
Priest who's a drug
he's got
smuggler.
a gun.
Yeah.
And he's smuggling drugs.
He had a gun and loads of money.
And gold teeth.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. I really like the fact that the gold teeth, of course they haven't decayed, but it's just fun.
Yeah.
Isn't it? You know?
And that, like, the body has, like, blackened and rotted, but, like...
Teeth are still
there.
Yeah. I think that's a really fun idea. So yeah, our priest who's not a priest. The fucking... I wrote down, the fucking convenient rosary in the tree. But then I wrote down, although I guess that's kind of the whole point, isn't it? Like, he happens to fall over because his legs are cramping up again. And they find the rosary in the tree. And it's like, oh, well. But that's the point. It's all like fate, isn't it?
It's all fate, yeah.
It's all supposed to happen at every specific point. But yeah, the body fucking falling. They've got a few jump scares in this episode,
Yeah, this
they?
one's a bit more like, yeah.
And the body falling down was insane.
And the fact that it falls down in, like, pieces as well. It's, like, not a complete corpse. It, like, falls down, like, multiple bits. I was like, oh, God.
It's grim, isn't it? But yeah, but I'd, like, kind of totally forgotten about the Adam and Eve skeletons as well.
Yeah.
That was ages ago, wasn't it? But it kind of brings you back to that mentality. It's like, do you think they were related somehow? But probably not, right? Because didn't Jack say that they could be, like...
not.
50 years old or something. Yeah, so I don't think it matches up because this guy's still got all the clothes. John says between 2 and 10, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Years that they've been dead. So I'd say no.
So yeah, we have now, 4 or 5 groups of people? We've got Adam and Eve, we've got our plane crash, the priests who aren't priests, Danielle and her crew, and then Ethan.
Yeah, so many groups of people on this so-called deserted island.
Yeah.
It's so fun. It's so... Because I really didn't expect any of this. Like, when we were first watching this, it was like twist after turn after twist after turn, this episode.
And also, speaking of new people from this episode, the radio...
Oh my god.
Someone answered the radio!
Oh my god. So this is
we're
what
saying
I mean.
Maybe the yellow plane is rescue. Maybe the yellow plane is rescue!
Yes. It's so fucking exciting, isn't it? Because it's like, that whole sequence is so tense because the plane keeps like tipping and everything.
Oh, don't even talk to me. It freaked me out so much.
The other corpse falling on Boone is so like, again, jump scary. But then, and he's like, there's nothing here. Why did we come here? All is in here is heroin, you know? There's nothing here, blah, blah, blah. The fact that they're in Virgin Mary statues.
Also, yeah.
Let's
like,
talk about it. The kind of
talk,
God
like,
symbolism.
The religious symbolism versus, like, it's not real, I think is so cool. Because it's like, you have priests and you have Virgin Mary statues, but it's like, the priest has a gun, the statues are full of heroin. It's like, John has all this faith, but it could all be hollow. It could all be nothing. I do, like, I'm not religious, but the religious symbolism in Lost goes so hard that it's like, maybe I'm gonna convert. Because it's so much of it. Because also, like, Charlie is a Catholic. He's Christian.
Yeah, Catholic because he goes to confession.
Yeah, and he has just kicked heroin. And now and Catholics are the ones who love the Virgin Mary. And now we have a heroin inside it, like... And John is the reason that Charlie kicked the heroin because John's the one who threw it in the fire.
But John also said like the island's gonna help you if you get rid of the heroin. It's gonna give you your guitar back and everything.
But now it's like the island has given him more heroin.
So is it now John's responsibility to keep all of that heroin?
Yeah. Is this some kind of punishment that John has used the lessons incorrectly?
Yes. I like that.
Everything he's done is being taken away because like he can't walk anymore, and he's helped Charlie, but now that's being taken away.
And he helped Boone, but now Boone's gotten into this horrific accident.
Yeah. Or is it like a temptation thing? Is it like have faith in the island, and then because like by the end of it he can walk again.
Yes.
So it's like, is it gonna tempt Charlie? Is it like
or is it like, is it all about John, you know? Is it to try and signify to him you did it wrong, but is that a test, you know, to be
is
like,
it
no,
test,
I did it
or
right?
is it a
Ooh, it's juicy,
so
isn't it?
it's yummy.
So many
Mwah.
possibilities conjured up by this plane, which is so fucking cool that it's just on the island. The plane is on the island.
And it's just been there this whole time and they haven't found it just because it's been far away.
Nigerian drug smuggling priests, are you kidding? And then the radio, the fact that he's like, there's nothing in here. What am I looking at? There's nothing. And then he spots the radio. I was like, oh.
Because it's like, that. I don't know about you, but like when I was first watching it, I was like, oh, that's why they've been brought here.
Yes, me too.
The radio.
Yeah.
Because also like Saeed had the whole thing with the transceiver and stuff and it's all gone wrong and it's like, maybe they need this one.
Yes. And also, like, by this point in the series, you've low-key forgotten about them all getting rescued.
Yeah.
Haven't you? And then it's suddenly like, oh my god, we could get rescued.
Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah. And it's like, obviously the characters haven't forgotten about that. That's always in their heads, you know? And so that's Boone's immediate instinct when he picks up the radio to be like, Mayday, Mayday, with the survivors of the ocean-going flight 815.
Yeah.
But yeah, we hear the static, we hear the person on the other end of the radio say, repeat the transmission. And then we hear
something
garbled,
about 8:15.
but they definitely say Oceanic Flight 815, don't they?
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Does that mean there are people out there already looking for them?
Saying like, what?
Oh,
815?
815?
We're sending a location.
We're going to converge on the location of the radio? Question mark. Come
Who
on.
knows?
It's exciting.
So exciting. Unfortunately, the other thing I did write down about this scene is clearly the message here is that if he takes heroin, his legs will be okay again and nothing will go wrong.
Don't do drugs, kids.
Don't take heroin, it won't cure your paralysis.
And don't engage in a nightmare blunt rotation with Jack, John, James, and Jim.
Terrible.
Mm-hmm. Just for your own sanity more than anything else.
Just in case. Yeah, I really don't think the lesson was take heroin, but it was like, if I was John in that moment, I would be like, is the lesson take drugs?
He's like, the island needs to give me a clearer sign, okay? I have no idea what's going on. Anyway.
But yeah, the plane, it just freaks me out. So the way it like rocks freaks me out so much.
Oh man.
And
it fucking nosedives at the end.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember it being so dramatic, like the
yeah,
you know?
it's like so, and then it like falls back, doesn't it?
Yeah,
like
like onto its front,
top.
which is how all of the debris ends up on top of him. Like, oh, it's gnarly, isn't it?
It was nasty.
Yeah, I kind of love the bit where he like reveals Boone's face and his eyes are like wide open, because it's like you can tell he's like disoriented, like he's still alive and everything, but he's like, he's out of it, he's like concussed or whatever, he's dazed, but also it looks really metal, you know, just like the big white eyes, you know,
big blue eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's just like the dream, because he's got his eyes open and he's looking up, and it's
absolutely.
I did also write mother lifts car off baby.
It's giving that.
It is very much because like he can't walk, and then suddenly Boone's in danger, and he's like, I will lift the plane off of him.
So we talked about like the father-son dynamic or lack thereof between John and Boone, or John and Jack, and John and various characters, where they kind of try and set it up and it doesn't really work. But I think they do hint at it this episode with the parallels of him and Anthony in the flashbacks.
Yeah.
And I noticed one specific bit where he'd fallen down and he asked Boone to help him up, and he says something like, help me up, son, or something like that. And I was like, I think they did a good job of kind of doing it subtly.
Yeah, it's not like really overt.
Yeah.
But it is like, I think it's just in there a little bit. More so just in the sense of like Boone is kind of teaching John. John is kind of teaching Boone like how to like how he's doing all these contraption-y things and how he's hunting and tracking, and like that's what Anthony taught him, and that's what we find out this episode, how Boone, it's not Boone, it's John. Why do I keep saying that? How John
knows how to hunt
and track and all these things that everyone's like yeah, you worked at a box company, what are you talking about?
Which Kate also says she learned all of that stuff from her dad as well, doesn't she?
Yeah.
And it's like, God, this is the fucking daddy issues show, isn't it?
It
Like,
really
none
is.
of these men know how to communicate, so they just take their children hunting. They're like, shush, we need to be silent. We'll scare the animals.
And we conveniently don't have to talk about our feelings.
There is something in that, like, you know, parent being sort of responsible for the child, John being kind of responsible for Boone, but also, like, Anthony's complete lack of care towards him.
Yeah.
And
I mean, the crucial difference is John seems to actually care about Boone.
Yes, I actually don't think you can draw a parallel between Anthony in the flashbacks and John on the island.
Yeah, because the thing is, I think, like, I'm not happy with John for the way he behaves in this episode. But it feels like, on the face, you can sort of see a, like, using character A using character B as, like, a means to an end. Except it's very different.
Yes.
Because Anthony is planning that from day one, whereas John he's like stumbles into it accidentally, doesn't he? Like, he's not doing it on purpose. He's not going, aha, now I will manipulate Boone by talking about his dead nanny, and then I will get him to do what I want. It's like John's very kind of confused and kind of stumbling through it all, whereas Anthony has, like, planned it all out specifically so that he can get John's kidney.
And obviously that's far more evil.
Yes.
Right? But in a way, like, you know, John kind of not really accepting responsibility for it and kind of saying, this is the island, this is what the island wants us to do, is irresponsible in itself.
Absolutely, yeah. And it is sort of like, yeah, I said this earlier after we watched the episode. I went on a bit of a tirade to Ariel in the living room, and I was like, I can't get into it today. But I think, like, John kind of stops perceiving Boone as, like, his own guy a little bit in the episode, and it's a bit more like, he's part of my journey. And I think that as a viewer you can get lured into that as well, because you're all wrapped up in John's magical journey and his destiny and his fate, and then it's this moment where Boone gets really badly injured that you're then like, oh wait, yeah, this is really dangerous, and they're not just going to be protected by the magic of the island, this is real.
Yeah, it brings you back to reality, like,
really
crashing
well,
in, no pun intended. Like, it is very intense, and I do think there is a tendency to get swept up in it. I do. But I also think, you know, like, John helped Boone with the help of the island to stop being so obsessed with Shannon, right?
Yes.
So he is looking out for him in some ways, but then I guess you could argue maybe he only did that because he knew that he needed Boone to be helpful to him and not tell anyone about the hatch.
I'm not sure, to be honest. I think there's an element of that. I don't think that's entirely the motivation behind it. The motivation behind John giving Boone the vision is because John kind of has this belief of, like, because he's been blessed by the magic of the island, it's now his job to, like, bring the
good
people.
Word to the people.
Yeah, but instead of doing that by saying, hey guys, I couldn't walk before but now I can, what he's doing is doing a bunch of mystical bullshit.
Yeah.
With Charlie and with Boone, and almost kind of with Claire as well when he makes the cradle for the baby.
Yeah.
They have that kind of moment.
He helps Sawyer too, doesn't he, in the boar hunting episode.
And he talks to Jack when Jack is having his visions
of his dad, yeah.
And so he's got, like, a divide and conquer approach. He's, like, going individually to each person. So I don't think it's, at least not entirely, for his own spiritual journey.
No, I don't think so. Especially with the other characters. And especially, I guess, up until this point in the season, it feels completely altruistic, doesn't it? And it's just like he's trying to help everyone. It's only now that we kind of start to doubt him a bit and go, hang on a minute.
Yeah, and this is I guess, the everything breaks if you apply the right force. It's like, suddenly he's not being this, like, druidic... selfless, helping everybody. Suddenly he's gotten pressure put on him and he reverts back to that, like, angry man in the wheelchair who can't connect with people.
Yes, and I think it's perfectly timed that it goes hand in hand with us learning more about his life in the flashbacks.
Absolutely,
because we sort of go, you're saying he forgets that Boone's just a normal man. We forget that he's just a normal man.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And he's had this normal life off the island. We have this tendency to see him as this kind of like island figure, you know? And so I think when we're brought back to his past, he gets brought back to his past.
Yeah. No, definitely. And that's drawn very explicitly by the fact that his mother appears in the vision. In the dream.
Yeah. So shall we talk about the flashbacks?
Yeah.
Let's broach them.
So far all we've discussed is Mousetrap.
The most important part, quite frankly.
I do also have written down that the footballs are in aisles 8 and 15.
Very nice, very nice. I was waiting for Boone when he was talking about Teresa to go. I was like, say you were 4, say you were 4 when it happened, say you were 4,
say you were 8,
4, say you were 4, and he was like, I was 6. I was like,
he did say...
We tried to do one thing on this show.
John did at one point say, in that conversation though, and he said like, he was talking about when he tells Boone I was in a wheelchair, and he says like, 4 weeks ago I wouldn't have believed you either. And I was like, 4.
He was also in the wheelchair for 4 years.
4.
Come on. But yeah, I think the balance between the on-island plotline and the flashbacks is really good in this episode.
It's good. It's interesting, though. I find it very interesting that we had, like, 2-3 flashbacks before Anthony even gets introduced. Like, we had 2 flashbacks just in the, like, toy shop. And then there's another one with the, like, solicitor guy who, like, brings John all the...
Yeah, I thought he was, like, a private investigator kind of guy. You know, that he'd hired to look up, to research this random woman who claimed to be his mum.
Yeah, something like that.
Because I feel like that's a John move. Like, he wouldn't go the direct route.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is interesting. And I guess that is all part of his plan, isn't it?
Yeah, and that it's like, we don't actually see John offering to give him the kidney.
Oh,
you know?
He's so fucking manipulating.
It's so obvious. Like, it's disgustingly obvious when he's like, I'm glad we have this time to... Now there's still time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, watching it knowing.
Yeah.
Like, because the first time, I was just like, oh, this is nice.
Didn't necessarily think there was anything sinister about it, yeah. But the whole, like, you were supposed to come at 12.
No, the fuck he wasn't.
No, he definitely said 11, so that he would see him getting the dialysis. Oh, I think it was when he laughs and he goes, you know, because John says that the mum said that he was immaculately conceived. Anthony laughs and says, I guess that makes me God. I literally wrote down, I cannot look at your fucking face. Like, he fills me with so much rage on the screen.
So much.
Like, oh my God, like, we hate Christian Shepherd, but we fucking hate this guy.
It's like, this guy makes Christian look like a good father.
I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, we thought we couldn't get any worse, and then we did.
And here we are.
It's, oh my God, I hate Anthony Cooper so much. He's just so horrible.
Also, while we're talking about it, I was going to say, he beats out Susan as our least favourite flashback character. But also, when, what's her name? Emily, John's mum, says, like, you're special, I was like... He's just like Walt.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe it's all actually about Walt. And it's that John should be... Because we're talking about the divide and conquer thing. John's also trying to help Walt channel his, like, magic or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe it's all that, like, John was never the special baby. Walt was the special baby.
That's interesting. Yeah, because obviously the saying, like, you're special, that's all a lie. That's all part of Anthony's tactics to manipulate him, isn't it? But yes, it definitely
plants... But Walt is actually...
it plants the seed in John's brain. So John, hearing that he is special, sets him on the motion to find out more about his family. And even the PI guy says, like, look, I've done enough of these to know it's not fate. But John thinks it is, doesn't he? And he sets him on this path, which ends in him giving up the kidney, which is when we realise it was all false. So you kind of, from the narrative of this episode, you go, there is no fate. But we remember Walt with the special. There is magic. There is, in this universe, there is...
Not just on the island. Yeah. There is objective power that's going on all around.
So do you think it's about, like, John and Walt connecting?
I don't know. I just think it's an interesting comparison to draw, because I
Yeah.
think Walt is almost what John Walt is like having the life John wishes he could have had, almost, you know? Because it's like Walt's dad has come into his life and really loves him and really genuinely wants to connect with him and was like away from him not by choice, and like Walt has these powers and has this magical kind of connection that John has had to work really hard to maintain, but Walt kind of just has it naturally. And like they obviously connect over the games and stuff, and they're very similar people really when you look at it like that. And it's like, I think John sees a lot of what he wishes he could be in Walt.
Yeah.
Which makes their dynamic really interesting, because obviously John as the adult is the like the mentor figure.
And especially at the start, we think of him as the much more mystical one. Like when he goes like, do you want to know a secret and stuff?
Yeah.
Right at the very beginning. Yeah. No, it's a really interesting dynamic between the two of them. And I'm glad you brought it up.
Because Walt's actually not in this episode.
No.
But I think like that kind of moment is a bit of a like, don't forget. You know?
Those pigeons are so loud. I'm sorry, Jack, if you're having to edit out the noises of the pigeons.
Pigeons were crazy loud outside my house, outside my room the other night, you know? Yeah, I do just have kind of Anthony Cooper is so fucking evil written down.
But, I mean, also interesting when we think about, like, Emily having a history of schizophrenia.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
And like that's not made up. That's not part of Anthony's schemes.
No. And I'm not sure if that's something that's possibly inherited, but
maybe,
it's also interesting.
Yeah, there's this kind of very man of science perspective you can take on it, where you just go, there is no magic on the island. John is just like deluding himself. But it's like, I think we get just enough objective evidence that that's not true. I think it's done very well. Like, you can be a skeptic about it, but you get just enough evidence that you have to kind of be like, okay, well, there is something going on.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, hence the mystery. And also, dear viewers, especially if you're watching for the first time, we get so many wheelchair fake outs.
Oh my god.
So we had 2 in this episode. 2.
3. Well, there's a third one that I think I thought was
okay. But so in the second flashback, he's chasing Emily through the car park and he gets hit by a car. Immediately stands back up. He's totally fine. Not the wheelchair moment. But then when he gives up his kidney,
I was like, oh, there's complications with the surgery. That's why Anthony's checked out early, because he's fine, but John can't. Yeah, John's paralysed.
But no, that's not it either. We don't find out for so long.
The place where I thought was when we were first watching it, because I thought it was the kidney when we were first watching it, and then when he's like driving away from Anthony's house, he like parks the car, but he doesn't really like pull over, and he's like, I think he's like crying. And I was like, oh, this is it. Like, it's going to be that he stopped the car in the middle of the road and someone just drives into him. And it's that he was so distracted thinking about his dad that he didn't pay any attention, and then it hit him. And I remember telling Mum that, and she was like, no, I thought that too.
Oh, wow. Okay, I didn't even pick up on that one. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so many fake outs. They love to do it.
They love it. They love a wheelchair fake out. You do not find out how he got in that wheelchair for such a long time.
But I was like, wouldn't it just be like the evil icing on the diabolical cake if it is this scam surgery that Scammy McScammer has scammed him into getting, that then has the complications which leads him to be
in a
wheelchair.
So awful.
Oh my god. And I bet he wouldn't even care.
No, of course he wouldn't. Because he's got his kidney, and that's what he wanted.
He's such a twat.
And he just, oh, I hate him.
Fills me with so much rage. And why is he wearing a beret?
Yeah! What's that all about? It's not a hunting hat.
No.
It's not really a him hat.
No.
It's a really weird costume choice.
Really, really
from whoever designed the show.
Why?
Because, yeah, what's that all about?
Maybe they gave him a bad wig too, and they were like, do you know what, we just need to cover it up.
I don't know. It's really weird.
So weird. Why? Why is he wearing a beret? Why?
Berets are just something I never expect to see in the wild. Like, to me, a beret is exclusively something that, like, stereotypical French people wear in, like, cartoons. Like, a beret is not real to me, really.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone who unironically owns and wears a beret. Actually, that's a lie, I do know one.
Yeah, I was going to say, I studied English literature,
so yeah.
A fair amount of people in lectures would have berets.
And the last thing I'll say on the subject, actually, because we need to, well, that's a lie, it's not the last thing I'll say on the subject.
Nothing on this podcast is ever the last thing we say about any subject.
So
we're always like, and another thing.
What I was going to say is that I think it's really significant also narratively, also from the perspective of the islanders orchestrating things, also from just like a analytical perspective of John's psyche, that what pushes him to tell Boone that he was in the wheelchair, and then how that goes for him. Like, it feels very much like it wasn't until literal breaking point that he would admit it. You know? Like, it's not until he physically can't walk anymore that he tells Boone. And I think part of the reason for that, at least, like, if I try and put myself sort of in his shoes, what I think is, like, if he told, like, Jack would be all, like, coming over and checking his reflexes all the time and being like, it could just be adrenaline, you have to prepare yourself for the eventuality of, like, losing again. And, like, everyone would be very, like, careful about him, and so he doesn't want people to know because he wants people to think he's this, like, hunter gatherer, whatever. But also that, like, he tells Boone, I think it's not until after he tells Boone that Boone tells him about Teresa. No, it is.
No, Teresa comes first, I think.
No, because isn't it that, like, John collapses and Boone is like, we've got to go back to camp, and then John tells him that he was in the wheelchair, and then he's like, okay, we'll keep walking.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
and then he, like, collapses again. Boone tells him about Teresa.
Yeah, because that's when he's going, I wouldn't have believed it 4 weeks before. This island made me whole. I wrote that down. And he said, you and I are here for a reason. And I thought that was an interesting, because you're talking about how, oh, he doesn't care about Boone, blah, blah, blah. You and I are here for a reason.
But what's Boone got to do with it? He was in the dream.
Boone is definitely a part of John's journey in opening the hatch. He thinks that Boone is significant in some way. Maybe he doesn't know how significant Boone is, but he's in the dream. He was there when they found the hatch. Like, Boone's a part of this.
No, I'm not going to argue with you that Boone's a part of it. I just think that John's perspective of Boone as a part of my spiritual journey is not particularly healthy for Boone.
Well, I mean,
he was in a crash. But yeah, I think, like, that, but also that moment feels like it's like a reciprocal, like, I share something I don't want to tell anyone, and then you share something you don't want to tell anyone.
Absolutely, yes.
And they have that kind of, it rebuilds that connection between them, because Boone is kind of sick of John's shit at this point, isn't he? And I would be too. I'm also sick of John's shit, and I'm a viewer. But it's like, when he tells him that, I was like, oh, he looks really worried. Like, he looks really worried about John. He's like, no, okay, we'll do this. And it's like he's kind of having this realization that, like, no, like, things are...
John is so invested in the truth of the fate and magic and destiny of the island. He has to be.
Yeah.
Because if he's not, then how do you explain him being able to walk again? Does that mean he won't be able to walk again if he doesn't have faith?
Yeah.
Like, he has everything riding on this.
And it's like Boone kind of, it's like it clicks for him. He suddenly understands why it's so important for John, and it's really nice, actually, because then he's like, okay, yeah, we'll do it. And he, like, understands the significance of it. Yeah, I did also write number 1 blue-eyed white boy in that scene, because he's really intensely looking at John, and I was like, oh wow, okay, back up a bit, you know?
Girl, I'm shaking.
But, like, the eyes,
contact.
but, like, there's a lot of emotion going on in the eyes as well, and I was like, it's just really good. I really like that bit, but then it's also that, like, because then Boone is in the accident, it's like, was that because John was supposed to keep his gift a secret?
Ooh, interesting.
Is it that now Boone, you know,
But
he's
the
all
island-
like passed out, he can't tell anyone?
Well, yes, that is very true. And it's kind of like, you know, in the hallucination in Hearts and Minds, Boone tells Shannon about the hatch and then she immediately gets killed, doesn't
yeah.
she?
So it's like there's this whole, like, it feels like the island is telling them you can't tell anyone.
Yeah, the secrecy and everything. But equally, the island is taking away John's ability to walk, so he couldn't have climbed up the thing.
Yeah.
You know? So the island's sending very mixed signals,
The island
basically.
is giving them intensely mixed messages.
The island is such a red flag, honestly. The island
Dump
leaves me
him!
on red all the time. Like,
John, girl, leave her.
leave-
Yeah.
Mhm.
But then it's like, there's that, and there's the island, and there's this kind of significance of that. But then, like, it comes back around to John on the hatch, and he's banging on the glass, and he says, "Why did you do this to me?" And I'm like, to you? You did this to him.
Yeah.
Why did you do this to me, you, the island, ruin my life by getting my friend in a horrific accident that is my fault because I told him to do it?
Obviously, that's very self-centered. And yes, it isn't done. It's done to Boone. But equally, he begins, I feel like is the important context, that rant with, "I've done everything you wanted me to do." So he, when he says, "Why did you do this to me?" what he doesn't mean is Boone's accident. I was about to reference something from a later episode then. What he means is, why did you give me all of these signs and then leave me on red, essentially?
Yeah.
Why did you not I don't understand, he's basically saying, like, what do you want me to do? Like, he thinks he's interpreted everything correctly, but clearly it's gone wrong, and it's that frustration, I think.
And I understand that. And I understand that perspective from John, that he's like, why is this happening? You know, that he's trying, like, because obviously he's been given this gift and he thinks that the gift is for a reason and he has to do something about it, and then it's not going right for him. But it is just one of those moments where it kind of takes me out of the magic for a second and I go, no, what are you talking about?
I think let's talk very briefly about the musical score at the end as well.
Yeah.
Lots,
the music was great.
the song that kind of, it begins in the hospital
Yeah.
when he's with Emily, and it's like, it sort of really crescendos all the way through him being at Anthony's gate, and that scene's crazy as well, like, I know you're watching me, blah 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 blah, and then, like, you've got the anger, it's all him bringing Boone back to Jack as well, I think is all within that bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he's like, he puts Boone down.
Because also I remember when he gets out of the car, you can see, like, blood all over the back of his shirt from his, like, stitches.
Yes.
And then when he puts Boone down, he's, like, all covered in Boone's blood. And I was like, it's the white t-shirt all covered in blood.
Very nice parallel, very nice parallel. And yes, actually, so I got the order slightly wrong there, because I remembered when I just said parallel there, I wrote down a really fun transition when Jack says... Oh, that was a different bit. Oh my god, I'm getting so confused. Oh my god.
So much happens this episode.
The interesting parallel that I wrote down was Boone agreeing to climb up the cliff face with John and Anthony in the hospital beds holding hands. I thought that was really interesting, because it's like the kind of unity before the fall, essentially.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really interesting parallel to note.
Also interesting, sorry, you can finish your point in a second, but that Anthony says to John, you can still back out, and he's like, oh no, they've already shaved my back, and that's a very empty promise, because obviously Anthony, it's all he wants them to do, whereas John is like, you have to do this, and Boone says, yeah, okay, I'm gonna do it. It's like, it's like, but that's a much more genuine, this needs to happen.
Absolutely. This is the thing, John doesn't have that veneer of manipulation. He is manipulating Boone in a way, like,
but it's like not intentional.
Yeah, he's manipulating him in the sense that he is getting him to do what he wants, but it's not through any kind of lying.
Yeah.
It's trying
Actually, it's at this point John is being the most truthful he's ever been with anyone since the plane crash.
Absolutely. In contrast to Anthony Cooper, who's just lie.
Yeah.
But then, sorry, the other transition I wrote down, sorry guys, I'm bouncing around everywhere, but the other transition I wrote down that I liked was, I wrote down John fucking legs it. Jack's going, you need to tell me everything, and then he's shouting, and he shouts lock, and the noise of him shouting lock is the transition to him waking up in hospital. So it's almost like someone called a name, and it's like lock, and he wakes up, and then the nurse is there. So I liked that. So it's not the bit with him bringing Boone back. Apologies. It's the music starts with his conversation with Emily in the hospital, and it continues throughout him going to Anthony's house. Then it continues to him like banging in the car and like punching the rear view mirror and stuff. And then it continues to him banging on the hatch and punching the hatch and being like, what do I do? And it's really, I think it swells in a really nice way, and it's really kind of like sad tune, even though all of this rage is coming out. It's like a really aggressive, intense moment, but the music's really sad, and then it has this really fun like sucking noise almost at the end. When the light comes on, there's like a sucking noise, and then it goes into the boom that we know and love of the credits. I just think that's beautiful.
No, I think it is.
Well done, Michael Giacchino.
I know, I'm just going to see if I can find what track...
What it's called.
Because a lot of them have very fun
They
titles.
Do. I'll fill the time, listeners, with a fun fact that I found out recently. Michael Giacchino did the soundtrack to Ratatouille.
Did he really?
He did.
How exciting.
And The Incredibles, I think.
Actually, no, I feel like I did hear about The Incredibles.
I might have told you. Because I was gobsmacked, quite frankly.
Ah, it is.
Oh no, it's going to be something awful.
The new statement of Locke's second theme that concludes the episode appears on the season 1 soundtrack as Locked Out Again.
Oh, that's so dumb. Locked out again.
Locked out.
Because he's locked out of the hatch.
Locked out of the, the hatch and the house. And it's happening again.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I guess that, like, I've done everything you wanted to do, why would you do this to me?
That's very Anthony Cooper.
Very much he's saying that to Anthony.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Wow. Maybe within the hatch is the concept of all of their daddy issues.
Concept of daddy issues, they're going to open it up. It's like Pandora's box.
Yeah. Or maybe it's the solution to all of their daddy issues problems, and it's going to just flow out in that big bright light.
But I mean, then there's no show.
That's true. That's the season finale.
It's the end of season 6, guys. Sorry, spoilers. They don't open the hatch until season
6.
Can you imagine?
Oh, that'd be so funny.
Okay, so now that we've gotten all that out of the way,
yeah,
should we talk about the side plot?
Yes, please.
Because this is one of, like, Lost does this a lot, where, like, the main plot line is something really heavy and really intense, and the subplot is something really stupid.
Yes.
And one of the most prominent is with the golf course,
yes.
right? Because that's when Saeed is being tortured by Danielle, and then also they're building a golf course.
Yes.
But this is possibly even more ridiculous.
Yes. This, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say this is possibly my favourite, if not top 5. Like, silly side plot lines.
Yeah, for sure.
It's so much fun. And it's our main characters as well.
Yeah, it's like the
They
main
get a
characters
break.
getting to be a bit goofy, and like Jack getting to sort of actually banter a bit.
Yes.
I'm like, it's so nice because he's always so stressed out.
Jack's cracking jokes. It's so much fun, you know? And he's kind of just fucking with Sawyer for a laugh. Do you know what I mean?
That,
There are so many hilarious scenes. Let's just go through them in order.
Let's go from the beginning. Okay, so, first things first, Sawyer reclined with a cloth over his face.
Brilliant.
It's making me giggle.
Excellent, no notes. Love it. And I love that little interaction, because Kate's already gone to Jack and been like, Sawyer's having headaches, and he's like, look, he's not going to come over and, you know. Also, did you notice that Jack just had full tits out in that scene?
Did he?
Yeah, he just had his shirt completely open. I was like, okay, necessary?
Feels like something I would have noticed.
And yeah, so then he goes over to Sawyer, and they have this great interaction, don't they?
It's the way, it's like, it feels like sort of...
It's a comedy.
You know, like the thing you do with little kids or like dogs, where it's like you have like the treat or whatever, and it's like, okay, well, if you don't want it, I'll put it, and then no, I want it, and then it's like, okay. Like the way Jack keeps walking away just far enough for Sawyer to ask another question and then come back again. It's so
great. My only criticism with the way that's staged, because I do love it, the way that Jack's walking away and then coming back. My only criticism is I really wanted one time when Sawyer said like, no, wait, or something to Jack, for Jack to do that smirk to the camera that Sawyer did in his flashbacks.
Yeah, that would have been good.
That would have just really made my day. It would have been fantastic.
No, it would have been funny.
But yeah, we've talked a lot about how, like, in very serious ways, Sawyer can't really be vulnerable. But this is a really sort of... He's processed his trauma in episode 16, hasn't he? And he's kind of... Now they're kind of going... Let's put that lack of vulnerability in a bit more of a comedic context.
Yeah. And then, like, the questions. Have you ever had an STD?
I'll take that as another yes.
And then just being, he needs glasses.
That scene is so fucking funny.
It's so funny because it's the way Jack definitely knows immediately.
Yeah.
And just decides to mess with him.
Yeah, doing all like the clicking near his ear to test the reflexes.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Literally, I bet all it took is like he would have done the thing with the pen and then gone, he's been reading all the time, it's that he needs glasses, and then just decided to fuck with him.
Yeah. And I love his stance as well. I love Jack's stance. He goes into full doctor mode and he's like got his pen and paper and he's like, you know, have you ever had a blood transfusion? Have you ever had sex with a prostitute? And it's also just so funny because a doctor would never phrase it like that as well. It's like, he's so clearly fucking with him. It's brilliant.
It's so funny.
And Kate's just there. Kate's just there laughing at him. Laughing at the whole situation.
The conversation as well, Sawyer says to Kate, like, do you need to be here for this? He's like, don't look at me.
She's just like, they're so silly, the pair of them.
It's ridiculous.
Great. And then I love the little Saeed soldering montage.
Yeah, Saeed's weird, like, kind of beach moment with the music playing. He doesn't have any lines. He just is like, and it's like, and now science guy is here to melt this glasses. Like, it's so ridiculous.
Yeah. But it's great, and they look really cool.
It's great.
I want glasses like that.
I
where
know.
One is one thing,
and I love that,
other.
like, when Jack holds up and he goes, hell no. And he's like, sorry, this isn't a fashion contest.
Oh, they're having fun. They are having fun.
They're having fun.
And I like that he writes better or worse on the paper.
Yeah,
they're
and like,
having fun.
when he like gets Sawyer to like put the glasses on and he holds up the book and he's like grinning at him, I'm like, ah.
It's great. Sawyer needs glasses is one of my favourite side plots.
And the great thing about it as well, I remember when that scene started, with the first time we watched it, it was like the Sawyer has headache scene, and then Dad went, oh, I remember this plot line, and I was like, oh, what's gonna happen? This is something he like specifically remembers, but it's like, no, he remembers it because it was funny.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everything about that is so stupid, and it's really that, like, you need that in this episode, you know?
You do. It's a good amount of comic relief. Sometimes the comic relief, I don't
Feels
think
a
they
bit
get the
jarring.
balance quite right.
Yeah.
But this one I like it, especially because it's our main characters. I think that really adds to it. Also on the kind of funny side of things, I wrote down, we got a bastard, and then I wrote down, we got two. We got two bastards in the show, which is quite exciting. We did, yes. First one was John after he's had his dream, I believe. Yes, it's after he's had his dream and he's talking to Boone near the hatch, and he's like, we're supposed to find the plane, I figured it out, it's gonna, the dream or whatever, it's gonna show us how to open this bastard up. And I was like, that's hilarious because we never get a bastard on this show. And then, like, literally the next scene, it's Michael and Jin building the raft, and Jin's shouting something at him, and he's like, yeah, now, or whatever. And then Jack's like, oh, you've picked up on some Korean. And Michael goes, yeah, I'm pretty sure I know how to say bastard and idiot.
Was it bastard?
Yeah, it was.
But I don't know, okay. I believe you. Apparently also, I'm on the Lostpedia for this episode now. Under the continuity errors section,
of course, there's a continuity error section.
Apparently, in the scene where Jack keeps walking away and turning back again, Matthew Fox is wearing two different backpacks. Like, sometimes he's wearing his normal bag and sometimes he's wearing a completely different one.
Brilliant.
Which is quite funny.
I did notice the backpack, actually. I thought, it looks like a sort of leather bag. It was quite fashionable. I was like, yeah, it doesn't look like something Jack would have.
Leather bag is the alternate. But the one he does, I know it well. Because it kind of looks like my backpack. Because my big bag that I, like, wear all the time has these, like, diagonal, like, reflective stripes on the sleeves. And I'm always like, they're kind of stupid.
Sleeves.
Straps. I really thought that was the word.
Velvet's backpack has sleeves. We forgot to mention that. You, like, strap it on.
That would be so cool. Someone get me on the Dragon's Den.
Yeah.
Backpack with sleeves.
Jacket backpack.
Jacket with a backpack.
Jackpack.
And it's got a picture of Matthew Fox on it.
Yeah, we get him to endorse the product.
The Jackpack.
The Jackpack.
Anyway.
Copyright.
And then I noticed it because I was like, it's kind of stupid. And then now that I've noticed it, I've realised quite a lot of backpacks have it. And the one that Jack normally wears has the stripes on because I always notice it and go, oh, he's wearing my bag. And then he turns around and it looks totally different. I'm like... But yeah, he's wearing that one. And then in some shots, he's wearing a leather bag. Apparently. And also apparently there is some sweat continuity errors on Jack's shirt.
They should be sweating in time with the show. Quite frankly, it's unprofessional. Stop sweating.
Stop it.
You're only in Hawaii.
You're only on an island. But yeah, I really love the glasses plotline. Because also I love any plotline that takes Sawyer down a peg, you know?
Completely. Not that, you know, we're not shitting on people who have glasses.
Oh no, I have glasses.
And I do shit on you for it, but... but that's just us, that's just our banter, you know. No, I'm being serious. Obviously not, but it's the way that Sawyer is reluctant to go and talk to Jack.
Yeah. It's not about the glasses, it's the fact that he's clearly really worried about his health, but he still can't get over himself enough to talk to Jack about it. That's what's funny.
Yeah. He can't broach the sexual tension. Oh my god. I had to pause it today because I just started cackling because Jack went up to Sawyer and said something like, I've heard you've been having headaches, or
problems with your head.
Problems with
and
your
we were
head.
like, how's your head?
And I was like, it's literally a fucking how's your head moment. I was like, are you kidding?
No
are you
complaints.
actually kidding? If the writers had been brave enough, that's how that interaction would have gone down.
If Lost was made today, that's how that scene would have gone.
And also when Kate's like, get up, you're going to see Jack, and he's like, do I get a lollipop?
Do I get a lollipop?
Love that. Honestly, just iconic. Well done, team. You know, iconic.
We did it.
I also wrote down, if you're looking for a stool sample, you can forget about it.
Sawyer's just really funny in this episode.
He is.
It's like a rare moment where I'm actually kind of having a giggle at Sawyer. I feel like we actually managed to do it in a bit more of a coherent fashion than we normally do today. We kind of tackled the big things, and then the flashbacks, and then the side plot.
We were systematic, but I don't think any of our observations were coherent.
I think the thing is, it's very hard to be coherent about this episode without spoiling a bunch of stuff.
And also
about what
because
happens
the
next.
episode itself is incoherent.
Yeah, the episode makes no sense, first of all. Secondly, we can't tell you anything about the hatch because it's all spoilers. So we have to just be really vague about everything.
Yeah.
I promise there's a lot more significance to this episode, but you just have to let us get there.
Just trust me on this, okay? So yeah, any final thoughts? Any final thoughts on Deus Ex Machina?
That's kind of everything. I like this episode.
Me too. I was expecting you to say you don't like it.
I don't and I do. I think it's a good episode. I don't like it because John Locke about to piss me off. You know?
Don't piss me off.
Like, don't piss me. This is the moment. The more I watch Lost, the less I like John. When we first watched it, I was like, he's cool and he's magic. And then we've talked about his bad eras. And the thing is, the more I watch it, the more I can't not think about the bad eras, and the more I think, there's not that much good in there. He still pisses me off. And like, it just... So this one, it's really hard for me to get excited about the fact that it's magical, because I just keep thinking, John's pissing me off.
Yeah. Yes, and I'll weigh in on John Locke. I still do like him as a character in season 1. I think up to this point, he's been banger after banger, basically. Hearts and Minds was a bit of a blip, but it was a bit of a blip for everyone.
We don't talk about
Hearts and Minds. This episode, I am a bit like, but I still do like him. I think it's in the later seasons where his character goes downhill. I just think
he's just so self-centered, and it pisses me off. Because he just, like, his whole perspective of, like, everything is fate, I was meant to be here. I'm like, I'm sorry. You don't even know about the Australian psychic. Like, he doesn't know about the numbers. He doesn't know about the guy, Claire's raised by another.
Yeah.
He doesn't know. He doesn't really even know Walt has magical powers. Like, it's not about you.
Yeah. And I completely understand that. And I think one of the great things that Lost does, especially in the early seasons, is there's not really one main character. Like, all of them have main character potential.
Yeah.
The
story could be about any one of them individually, but it isn't. And John thinks he's in his own show.
Yes, John thinks he's the main character. And that is an issue. However, can you blame him? Can you blame him with everything that's happened to him?
No, okay. If I was in a wheelchair and then I woke up on an island after a plane crash and I could walk again, I would think I was the main character.
Yes.
But also, I wouldn't be a bitch about it.
Yeah.
I would tell people, first of all.
He's got to keep the mysticism going.
No, he doesn't.
You literally said 10 minutes ago that the island is sending him the message. You have to keep it a secret, otherwise we'll kill you.
I would say those are the messages he's getting from the island, but also if I would tell someone immediately and then receive that message.
So what you're saying is you would cause chaos quicker than he has?
Yes.
Okay.
And my metaphors would be better.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a given.
And I would be nice to Boone.
You're just such a Boone defender, honestly.
I love Boone.
He's just a bit annoying, isn't he, though?
Yes! But I still love him.
Yes, then it's like the greater than three.
He's a nightmare, annoying, horrible rich boy, and I love him. He runs a business, and he likes Star Trek. and he's incredibly stupid.
Mm. He gets cast in the role of side character, I think. We're saying everyone's got main character potential. Not so much Boone. Because his episode, first of all, he shares it with someone, which no one else does, as we've seen with the Sun and Jin perspectives.
Apart from maybe Walt Michael.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. But the resolution of that episode is him becoming John's number 2.
Yeah.
Isn't it? So it's like, he's not the main character, he is the side character.
Actually,
and he accepts this role.
When you look at it from that perspective, it's really kind of tragic what happens to Boone, because it's like he spends his entire life being like second to Shannon and having to like look after her and feeling like he has to like follow her around the country and save her and all this stuff. And then his resolution of being able to let go of that is just, now I'm second to John, and now I'm part of John's spiritual journey.
Yeah, he does latch onto other people.
Like, he never gets his own real resolution.
Yeah.
He never gets his own freedom moment. It's just, well, I'm not thinking about her anymore, now I'm doing whatever this guy tells me to.
But then it's the same with Shannon, isn't it? It's like, you know, everyone gets a new life on this island, and I'm going to use that to date more men.
Get a new boyfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those two characters are not treated the same.
They're not given the same... they're not given the same, like, kindnesses and freedoms and opportunities as the rest of the characters are. Which I think is bullshit. Frankly.
But then again, they're a bit annoying, aren't they?
Yeah, but maybe if they were given the opportunity for real self-actualization, they'd be far less annoying.
Yeah. No, it's a good point.
But we don't have time for all of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're done. Do you think we're done?
I think we're done.
So yeah, thank you all for listening to episode 20/episode 19. You can follow us at lostallcaps-pod on TikTok, lostallcaps__podcast on Instagram. Lost All Caps Podcast or something like that on Facebook, Tumblr, Spotify, and YouTube. Please give us a 5-star review. You can follow me at Ariel Hebditch on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. I forgot what TikTok was called then for a brief second.
Musically.
Oh my god! That is an era of the internet I am so glad has died.
Oh yeah.
I'm taking my solo stand-up show on tour. I'm coming to the Brighton Fringe on the 3rd and the 4th of May, so if you live in Brighton or if you're going to be in Brighton or around Brighton on those days, come and watch my show. Tickets are like £5. It's going to be super, super fun and silly and gay. That's the vibe of the show.
Yeah, it's a great show. I've seen it twice and I've thoroughly enjoyed it both times.
Velvet obviously gets forced to come to each show.
Sure, I will see it again.
Many, many times. And there'll be more dates TBC throughout May, June, July, September and October. So keep your eyes peeled on my socials. Guys, check me out. It's going great. Keep your eyes peeled. Keep an eye out for all of that good stuff to come.
Yeah, you can follow me as well. I mean, if you want. But I don't post anything interesting. On Instagram.
Amazing.
At Velvet Hebditch. But if you want to follow an interesting account, you can follow my drag account, which is at gar.lick.brad, where hopefully more things will be coming soon.
Mm-hmm. We're all waiting for the Boone drag act to drop.
Oh, yeah. Teresa falls up the stairs. Teresa falls down the stairs. Beat drop.
Doof, doof. Yeah. It's like the DJ gets it right to the top and then it's like Teresa falls up the stairs. Boom!
Boom! Covered in blood.
That'd be
I think it's
funny.
gonna eat.
Yeah.
I actually thought about doing a Lost, but I'm like, what would it even...
We need to brainstorm, because that would be
discuss.
So much fun.
We will discuss. Yeah, you can follow that. And yeah, we will speak to you next week.
We certainly
for
will.
episode 21/20, which is...
Do No Harm.
Do No Harm. I was going to say, I do know what this one's called. Do No Harm.
Do No Harm. Of course I know all the episode titles. I just had to regurgitate it from my internal Rolodex. Do No Harm.
Do No Harm, which is a Jack episode?
Because that's the oath that
yes,
doctors take.
I was going to say, the title has significance to Jack. Yeah, that's the doctor's brownie promise.
Yes. Yes, it is.
I promise that I will do my best. Do you remember it? To serve the Queen and my community.
Yeah.
To help other people.
And obey the Brownie Guide law or something.
Obey the Brownie Guide law, and you hold your 3 fingers up.
I promise that I will do my best to do no harm.
I promise that I will do no harm. Sorry.
So thank you so much. We'll see you next week.
Sorry. That was like, I promised that I would do no harm, and my body was like, oh!
Yeah. Couldn't possibly cope.
Yeah, we will speak to you next week, and I will have a lot to say. I can promise you that now.
Oh, yeah.
This episode means a lot to me in a bad way. So look forward to that one next Sunday.
I can't wait for next week. It's going to be great. I reckon I'm going to say about 2 sentences next week.
It's going to I'm just going to you don't even need to be here, Ariel. I'll just set up like a pillow and I will just talk.
Perfect. Zombie lady can take my place.
Yeah, I'm just going to monologue it all straight to her.
Yeah. So tune in for that next week.
For that one.
And we'll see you then. Bye.